We're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
Oh, we're so back. Let's go. The Pregame Show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Oh, I see. It's all my old hotkeys are on here now. So my old fade out Sam is not there anymore. So that's all right. See, I've been doing the morning roast now for a few weeks. Got complacent there. So now I have to go back and fix all my hotkeys because we had a whole thing that went down. For those of you who don't know who hotkeys are, well, it's the things I press, the little buttons that I play that create sound and other stuff and interviews, cuts, highlights, what have you. But we're all good. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's a hump day in the Bay. Good morning to all of you. It's wet out there. Please be safe if you're driving on the roadways right now at an early hour. Appreciate you choosing us here. And good morning to all you lovely people. 888-957-9570. That's the number to call or text the Comcast Business text line, which is always open. Also, we are streaming live on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. So search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. As we start, now with the Niners, we'll maybe have some thoughts on them. Decent little team. Couple weeks off. They're going to play. They're not going to play. Going to play some starters. I don't play anyone. Just treat this like a preseason game. If that, I don't want any risks of even, someone getting hurt on the first series. So might get into that. Who will the Niners face? Well, they don't have to worry about this weekend. A lot of drama, though, around the NFL. A lot of clinching opportunities, different seeds, what the Rams are going to do. Still got the NFC South. I know it stinks. No one cares. You got the Falcons. You got the Saints. You got the Buccaneers. Who's it going to be? But if you look over in the AFC, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins playing for the 2 seed, but if the Bills lose, they're out. How nuts is that? I can't even remember the last time that's even happened. A chance to be the 2 seed, but also a chance to be eliminated on the final week of the regular season. Pretty insane. But we'll start today's show with the Golden State Warriors getting a much-needed victory over the Orlando Magic last night at Chase Center to improve to 16-17, 10-8 at home. Magic fall to 19-14, 7-10 on the road as Stephen freaking Curry breaks out of a little bit of a slump. We can call it that, right? It's all right. Steph is human. I know we all don't like to think that he is, but he is. Stephen Curry is human. And he makes mistakes, especially when he has no room for error for the most part on this team this season. If Steph does not have a good game, it's going to be pretty rare that you win. Now, he had that stinker against the Portland Trailblazers, in which he didn't score a 3-pointer. I think he had 7 points. They ended up getting the dub. But last night was anything but that. 12 of 20, 4 of 9 from beyond the arc, 36 for Stephen Curry as the Warriors once again 121-115 over the Orlando Magic, snap a 3-game losing streak as they have a date with the defending champs come Thursday in the Denver Nuggets. Obviously saw them earlier in the season, saw them just on Christmas, taking an L there. Obviously, Steve Kerr had a lot to say in the officiating in that game. We'll see if Nikola Jokic goes to the line 18 times again and makes all 18 free throws. But a lot of positives in the game yesterday. And we'll get to negative strong, but some of the things that might linger on this season that I don't think are going to be resolved anytime soon. Draymond Green. Yeah, I guess he just hasn't been in contact with anyone. They're just giving him his space. I think that's straight from the organization, basically saying, you know what, Draymond, how about you take some time away from us? I know the league said you can practice with us, but I think it's best that, you go out and you go party with LeBron and you can just go do your own thing for now. And we're good over here. That's kind of what I got from the Steve Kerr update yesterday before the game, basically saying, yeah, We're giving him his space. So when's he coming back? It's January 3rd? What has he missed? A totality of what? 10 games? Something like that now? All right. Jonathan Kuminga, nice game. 7 of 14. 19 points. Liked what I saw yesterday. Liked what I saw from the young guys. Trace Jackson Davis, double figures. You had Chris Paul in double figures. Is he getting his shot back? He was very efficient, 3 of 5. Klay Thompson, efficient, 6 of 11. Dropped him 15. But it was what Klay said after the game that I think is what is going to dominate at least this show for the most part, as well as probably other shows throughout the day here on 95.7 The Game. And don't worry. Yes, you heard this voice at the pregame show at 5 o'clock a.m. That means Bonte Hill, who you saw on TV last night, looking as dapper as ever on NBC Sports Bay Area, alongside Kareth Burke, welcome back, and Joe Shasi. Cannot wait. Can't wait. Bonte Hill and Joe Shasi make their triumphant return. New dad Shasi alert. He's got that new dad glow, new dad bags under his eyes, I'm sure. I'm one to talk. I've always had bags under my eyes, though. These are genetic. I've had bags under my eyes since I was in 2nd grade. Had nothing to do with sleep. A lot of people, my entire life. Wow, you didn't get a lot of sleep. Really? I slept great. Yeah. It is what it is. Those that have the same condition as I do, and condition strong, and just have dark circles under my eyes, is what it is. Klay Thompson. You know, a lot's been made about his season, his last couple seasons. The athleticism isn't there anymore. He can't guard at the level he used to, although he did a good job on Paolo Banchero last night, and that's what he's going to have to do. It's going to be against the bigger guys. He's going to have to make it tougher on them. He can't keep up with the quick, agile guards anymore. The Ja Morants of the world, he can't switch on to them anymore. He just can't. He doesn't have the lateral movement like he once was, and that's to be expected. The guy had 2 major injuries. Come on. To expect that of, anyone, let alone a 4-time champion and one of the great two-way players in his prime, is just ridiculous. But he can still guard. And at times he did well on Paolo Banchero, who is no slouch, alongside Franz Wagner, who Kuminga did a much better job on in the second half. But Wagner, my God. And all lots can be made about Wagner v. Kuminga coming out of the same draft class. Obviously, the Warriors were interested in Wagner. Mo, his brother, obviously also from Michigan. Pretty good game as well, coming off the bench for Orlando. But Franz doing his thing in the first half, Kuminga a much better job in the second half guarding him. And that's what they're going to need from him. It's one thing on the offensive end, but the consistency on the defensive end is where he can really make his bones with this team, on a team that is kind of thin on the defensive front. When it comes to consistency, when it comes to size, when it comes to athleticism, they need that from Jonathan Kuminga night in and night out, especially if he's getting the starts against the big boys around the league. Franz Wagner, both big literally and physically, or figuratively, I should say, being 6'10", alongside Banchero, who's also 6'10". So a big team that can give you problems and has given the Warriors problems in the past, got swept against them last year. Getting the dub against them was massive, especially stopping the losing streak. But here's what Klay Thompson said after the game, talking about how important the win was for them.
Yeah, I needed that. We needed that bad, because the last 2 games were just or 3-game losing streak. Yeah, it wasn't fun. So that was a really important win for us.
Very important win to snap the 3-game losing streak. Here's more from Klay talking about, how it felt, to get this dunk.
And now pass goes to Klay Thompson, who somehow got away with it to Batazzi, and he dunked it.
That felt amazing. I will never take for granted dunking a basketball, period. It doesn't even have to be in the NBA. It could just be in the driveway. So that felt really good. Felt really good. Can't relate, Raymond.
888-957-9570. Good morning to all you lovely people on the YouTube chat. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. We are streaming all day long, 5 a.m. through 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, right here on 95.7 The Game, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball, as Tim Roy was on the call there alongside Klay Thompson after the game on his dunk. And he doesn't do that anymore. Doesn't have the athleticism, doesn't have the hops like he once had. It was a funny play, too. because Steph chucking it all the way across court should have been intercepted by the Magic player. Wasn't. Klay snagged it, got the dunk, and it was a feel-good game. That was a game for vibe purposes, was much, much needed for Golden State. Good morning to EJ. Good morning to Brandon, El Guero, Anurag Vashitha. Let me know if I pronounced that correctly, Anurag. Bebop Jones, _187_. Good morning to all you lovely, lovely people. And good morning to the Comcast Business Text line, 888-957-9570-650. Welcome back, Joe. Happy New Year. That's from Mikey in SF. What's up, Mikey? It's not my little brother, Mikey, is it? No, he doesn't spell it like that. I always call my little brother Mike anyways. Everyone else goes Mikey. I call him Mike. Makes it unique. Happy birthday, by the way, Mikey. December 31st. He always kind of got screwed. They're twins, too. My little brother and sister, Sarah and Michael. They, December 31st, birthdays. Always, anytime you're within, I would say, 6 days before or after Christmas, you just get screwed. You do. Like, you're not going to get an extra special gift on your birthday like you would, let's say, during my birthday, which is the start of summer on June 4th. So, school's out. Oh, everyone's feeling great. Vibes are high. Let's go have a party. Invite everyone over. And everyone's going to go to the party, too, because school just got out. June 4th, I would say. I would put that up there with any day of the year when it comes to having a birthday. It's peak. Right at the start. Vibes are good. You know, the NBA Finals are starting. But December 31st, everyone's already partying, and it's not about you at that point. So I do think little brother and little sister got kind of hosed there. It's all right. We always had a good party when we were younger. The Warriors, they're not quite partying yet. You know, they're under 500. And Sam and I were talking yesterday on the Morning Roast about where this team is at and being at a crossroads, and that's going to come to a head come the NBA trade deadline. Where are these players at? All the questions that need to be answered. And perhaps the biggest, question mark on this team right now for me is who's the number 2? Who's the second best player outside of Stephen Curry? Because we know the Warriors need to win. And the only way they can win is with their guy, Stephen Curry, going off, being consistent, being efficient, and being who he has been for the better part of the last decade. Being one of the best players in the NBA at times, the best in the NBA. But when they won a championship against the Boston Celtics, it was Andrew Wiggins, right? He was the number 2. Got great contributions from Draymond Green, from Klay Thompson, Gary Payton, by the way, left yesterday's game with a hamstring strain, quickly ruled out once he left the court there. So that's something to monitor going forward. Just when you thought you got Gary Payton back and even more depth on the defensive end, on the hustle end, now he goes out. Very tough there. Another DNP for Moses Moody. Is Moses Moody's time done with Golden State? Like, is he going to be gone at the trade deadline? I kind of feel like that's going to happen, right? I was listening to Larry last week, and I kind of felt the same way. I was like, if I'm Moses Moody, like, what the hell? I played well, and this is the thanks I get. Shout out Wish if you guys saw that movie. There's a song in it. It was one of the best Disney movies, but I like that song. And this is the thanks he gets. So Moses Moody, that's another thing to monitor ahead of the trade deadline. But I'm still watching this team, and I'm waiting for someone, just waiting. And maybe this is partly on me. Maybe I shouldn't be looking at this like that. I mean, the championship was 2 years ago, and maybe, I shouldn't be looking at this team in the same lens I viewed them in. And I think a lot of us are. We should be looking at them for what they are. The 2023-2024 Warriors, which are a slightly below average team on January 3rd. Without their second best player on the team right now, who's serving an indefinite suspension, in Draymond Green. And yes, Draymond Green is their second best player. Because no one else has wanted to seize that. And it can't be a good thing for the Warriors. It can't. So they get the win last night, much needed to stop the bleeding. Now they need to start building something. They need to start building some momentum here ahead of the trade deadline. What's going to go on with Mike Dunleavy? I don't think he's as loyal as Bob Myers was to some of these guys. And why? Bob Myers had to leave. Because this is the offseason. As much as we wanted to think last year was the offseason, and the punch, all that, that was the legacy for Bob Myers. No. His legacy was set. Bob Myers is a made guy, one of the greatest executives in the history of the sport, specifically with this team, able to land Kevin Durant. You know, he wasn't the entire architect of the big three, but he kept them happy for the most part, and he kept the vibes, again, high around the team. Doesn't mean he was perfect. Didn't do a lot of great things. Didn't handle the Jordan Poole situation, Draymond Green situation very well alongside Steve Kerr. That's going to be, you know, kind of a, no pun intended here, a black eye on his resume. But he did not want to deal with the situation that Mike Dunleavy's going to have dealt to him in the next month ahead of the trade deadline. What was that, February 8th? NBA trade deadline. Correct. Look at me. Thursday, February 8th. A little over a month from now. What's it going to look like? That's the big question mark. Who's playing for a spot on the team? Who's auditioning somewhere else? It's fascinating. As Joe Shasi walks in here.
Bugatti!
Oh, there he is. He's feeling great. He's got that new dad glow. I was saying, Joe, I was like, you're going to come in with the bags under the eyes, the extra stuff. I was like, but no, not the Joe I know. The Niners are riding high. Warriors just got to win, so you could talk something positive with the Warriors. That's nice.
Giants sign a center fielder?
Oh, God. Who?
No, I like him.
Who?
The Korean player.
That guy.
Shinju Hu.
Oh, really?
You don't like him?
Did that just come to fruition within the last month?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
There's a lot of things that I've missed out on.
Wait. Oh, you didn't get to talk about that signing then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought
Joe, I've been gone for a whole year.
You have been.
It's a new calendar year.
Relax. I hate when people do that.
I know.
See you
I
next
knew
year.
you would hate
I
that.
did it to Anthony Slater, and he didn't like it last week. I don't think he did. Anyways, he's like, hey, Anthony, I'll talk to you next year.
I love Anthony. He's a little more pessimistic than I.
Just slightly.
I think he wakes up just a little pessimistic.
It was funny. I was reading his Athletic article, and he'll join you guys. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow.
No way.
Yeah, and he was talking.
Producing on the spot?
He was good. It was like the good, the bad, and the ugly from the win against the Orlando Magic. I was like, ugly?
Did you see the Pumpkin Man last night?
No.
The Pumpkin Man turned back into a glass slipper. Andrew Wiggins.
Don't get me started on this guy. He's consistently inconsistent. Hey,
Tell me the name Pumpkin Man isn't great.
It's all right. Hollow Man is still the greatest nickname of all time. Domantas Sabonis, big fat L for the Kings yesterday.
Man.
Shout out Kevin Bacon. You get
I'm ready to do 24 hours of radio.
Please, come on. Hey, we got the crossover right now. Is that what we're doing?
I don't even know what this is, but I'm sorry. I hijacked your entire first segment.
It's fine.
I just want to say on the real, every morning I woke up, and I don't know where the hell Sam is.
He's back
I
there.
woke up my little guy, and I was feeding him sometimes between like 5:30, 5:45, and like 6:30, right? Because sometimes it takes like 10 minutes. What?
How's he sleeping?
Horrific. But like I was watching you and Sam, and you guys did such a great job.
Oh, thanks, man.
No, like it was really cool. I got to, obviously wake my son up. I'm like, oh, there's Bugatti. There's the Lovinator. You know what I mean?
The
Like
Lovinator?
Yeah, you like that's a new nickname.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Sam just shook his head. He didn't even see his face. He's just shaking his head.
And
his
every
favorite.
time my dad goes, that fit guy. And I go, the fit guy? And he's like, yeah, Lubman. He looks so good on camera.
That fit guy.
Yes.
It's funny. We were watching a clip. I think I was clipping something.
That nickname I'm down with.
There you go.
I can't hear anything.
He can't hear. He said that nickname he's down with. The fit guy.
Yeah.
He's the Fitbit. We were watching, I was rewatching one of the streams, and Benny was watching it too, and Sam was wearing a Jurassic Park shirt, and Benny thought it was the coolest thing you've ever seen in his life. So there you go, Sam.
Dude, you're hella
Benny
big
approved.
with the 3-year-old demo.
Hella big. I don't think Matt's
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to both of you, I love you both. Thank you for filling in. I know I left everybody high and dry for multiple weeks, and it was kind of like secrecy.
You're a father, dude.
I love you guys, and you guys did a freaking great job. I cannot put an exclamation point on it anymore. I was so proud of you guys.
Dude, we enjoyed the time slot more than anything. I get to leave at 10 o'clock. That's the best part. That's the best part of the game. To hell talking about sports for 4 hours. I get to leave at 10?
Best part about all of this?
I got to leave. Sam didn't.
Well, Sam, I love you. I don't know what you do for the multiple hours.
In fairness to you, Sam, I had to go home and actually
just show. That's what I do.
He produces the show. That's what he does. He wanted to let you know. He doesn't have headphones on, Sammy, so he can't hear.
I can't hear any of your quirks.
There you go.
But I will say
I had to
this.
go home and watch 2 kids, so it's not really like I had any time off, as you know now.
Oh, it's 24/7. It's 24/7. But it's the greatest job of all time.
Of course.
Philadelphia's in shambles right? Think about how great San Francisco is right now.
Oh, did you listen yesterday? The 94 WIP.
Oh, they're firing him.
Oh, are you kidding me?
He's done.
They had a poll question on whether they should fire him, and then they interviewed him the same day.
It was great.
I was telling Naheek, I was like, could you imagine Willard and Dibbs? Like, poll question the day Lucas Alexander put this up. Should Steve Kerr, this should be his last year? By the way, Steve Kerr joining us at 5 o'clock here, 95-7 The Game.
Well, the best part about all of that, like, not only is their team in shambles, you got guys quitting. I mean, it's just incredible. I'm talking about radio hosts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, especially ones who want to talk big.
Oh, yeah.
Big.
Spend some more time with his family.
I mean, hey, Joey, Sam, I love you both. You did a great job. I will stop hijacking your show.
Hey,
I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. That's new father of the year, potentially. We'll see. It's early. 2024. Joe Shasi. He'll be on with Bonte Hill in here about, 40 minutes or so. Bonte fired up. Warriors get the dub, 121-115. Always good to hear from Joe Shasi. He's fired up. Good vibes are back. Are they here to stay with the Warriors, though? We know they're back here to stay at 95-7. But for the Warriors, are they here to stay? Well, here's Steve Kerr talking about the keys to that victory.
Well, we started rebounding in the second half. They had 13 offensive boards in the first half and only 3 in the second half. So I thought our work on the glass was much better. I think for the most part, we defended, without fouling so the game could flow for us, and we took care of the ball. Only 12 turnovers for us. And I thought a lot of guys came in and played really well. Loon was fantastic, plus 10, and obviously closed the game. He's so good defensively, and I thought, Wiggs, Brandon, our bench came in, really did a good job.
And the head coach on his unanimous MVP's performance last night.
Steph was amazing, but Steph is always amazing. Even when he doesn't score 36 points, he just the attention he draws defensively, what he does to an opposing defense, the way he opens up the floor. He's a remarkable player, and really got himself going on a night when we needed it.
888-957-9570. Your thoughts on the win for the Warriors, the good, the bad. Obviously, Gary Payton leaving, the bad in that game. I'm not going to say it's bad, but the Draymond Green update, it's still just, when's he coming back? I would have thought, I'm surprised, I am. And let me know if you're not, 888-957-9570. I mean, January 3rd here, Anthony Slater covers the team. Athletic, 95.7 The Game Insider. He projected mid-January, so maybe a couple weeks still. They'll ask him again next week for an update, and maybe they're saying, no, he's practicing now, and then obviously he could come back. But the fact that it's January 3rd, and he's still just not even with the team at all, and they said to just keep his space, hints to me it might be a lot longer than a lot of us initially thought. At least for me. I could be wrong here, but that's what it signaled to me, and I thought that was just fascinating. And the look and the leaked info, whatever, report from TMZ, you saw the picture of Draymond partying with LeBron on his birthday, LeBron turning 39, and Draymond's out there just partying with them. How does that feel, Warriors fans? I mean, come on. This guy's serving an indefinite suspension. He's not playing with the team that desperately needs wins. He's just coming off a 3-game losing streak. And this guy's out here not, going to therapy or anything like that. Not just hanging out at home. I'm not saying he should be on house arrest. No. But he's out there partying. I don't know. That would kind of rub me the wrong way. It's not, I don't care that him and LeBron are homies, clutch client. That has nothing to do with it. Could have been anyone's party. But that's what he's doing during the indefinite suspension. He's got to stay out of sight, out of mind everywhere. That goes with the podcast. That goes with TMZ. That goes with everything. Come on, Draymond. I perplexed is all I'm going to say there. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is who I'm not expecting the guy to change his on-court antics, any of his antics after this time away. Anyways, I don't think any of us really are in your heart of hearts. If you do, I think you're fooling yourself. But that was just wow for me. 888-957-9570. Steve Kerr. Enough about Steph Curry. What about the young guy, Jonathan Kuminga, who, as we know, kind of like to call you out. a couple times over the past calendar year. What do you think about his performance in the start?
I thought J.K. had a nice game. You know, he played hard. He wasn't into the ball enough in the first half, and Wagner was kind of getting downhill, and thought his defense picked up and was better in the second half. And then, J.K. gives us those buckets around the hoop. Those are big for us. We don't score easily around the basket all the time, and so when he can get to the hoop, get to the foul line, get us easy buckets, it's really important for us. So I thought he played a really good game.
I did too. 888-957-9570, 7-14. 3-point shot wasn't there, but you know what? Got a couple blocks, a couple offensive rebounds, 19 points. I will take that any day of the week. Active defense on a very tough player to guard, 6'10", with movement, with hops, all that size. Franz Wagner can give anyone fits, and Jonathan Kuminga did well to adjust in the second half there, and that's what you got to look for with young players. It's not always going to look pretty. Right, and I know he's not a rookie. He's been in the league now a few years. But you know what? Coming in as raw as he was, this is vital for his growth. Getting these starts alongside Stephen Curry, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, and again, a rookie in Trace Jackson Davis, who was also in double figures. We'll get to that on the other side. 888-957-9570. Your thoughts on Kerr's Draymond Green update. We'll hear from Kerr talking about Draymond on the other side, and also Klay Thompson getting very deep on a deep emotional level with where he is at in his career. You're not going to miss that on the other side. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Thank you, Tim. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. It's all right. We're getting back in the groove. There's going to be some technical things. It's all good. It's a new year. It is what it is. Warriors, 121. Orlando Magic, 115. Warriors improved to 16-17 on the year. Stephen Curry, 36 big ones. Needed that badly. As the Warriors need Stephen Curry to play like that. I'm not saying 36 points, but he needs to be Steph night in and night out for this team to have a chance this year. It's just what it's come to be. I mean, it's January 3rd. Is anyone else going to be consistent? Well, I'm waiting. Was yesterday a step in the right direction for this squad? Hopefully it is. And hopefully it was. 888-957-9570. Here's what Steve Kerr had to say about Draymond Green and getting the update there. From where he's at, is he coming back? What's going on with Draymond? Here's the latest from the head coach.
We're into January now. I was just wondering on the Draymond front, is he back in the facility at all, or is there just any update?
He's not been in the facility, at least with us. He may have been coming in on his own.
Are you in contact with him at all?
A little bit, yeah. We text, but we've been giving him his space. He's been giving us ours.
I know what he's trying to deal with isn't necessarily on the court, but do you know, as far as the type of shape he's in, is it going to be even once he comes back, it's going to take a while? Or
yeah, not sure.
Okay.
Not sure, yeah.
So they're just no communication at all. Just you do you. Is that what we're at right now with Draymond Green? I'm a little surprised. I am. I thought at least, when the league said that he can still practice with them, I felt like that was kind of like an easy out. But the Warriors, I think to their credit here, are like, actually, I think it's best if you just stay away for a little while, which I do think is the right move. I mean, I think the Warriors have to find themselves and who they have on this roster outside of Draymond Green. And don't get it twisted. On the court, outside of the swings, the headlocks, what have you, that Draymond was doing, outside of that stuff, the level of play was still at a quality level. Now, was it the best defense of his career? No. Still pretty damn good, though. Draymond Green is still a top defender in this league, a playmaker on this team alongside Steph Curry. He can do a lot of great things and was the most consistent player outside of Steph this season. That's why I continue to allude and say that he is the team's second best player, again, because of the consistency factor. Now, during his absence, I think someone else needs to step up here. And who's it going to be? I mean, I don't think it's going to be Wiggins. Efficient game yesterday, 21 minutes off the bench, 4-7, 10 points. I mean, that's just what Wiggins does. He'll have a great game. He'll have a so-so game. Like, it is what it is at this point. I don't expect Wiggins to get that starting role back unless there's obviously an injury again. And if you're just joining us, it's a pregame show. Joe Spadoni. Gary Payton, after coming back from a calf strain, now has a hamstring strain. And a strain, obviously, for those in the medical field, slight tear. So hopefully it's not, a severe one, but according to Anthony Slater, who's going to join Bonte Hill and Joe Shasi today, I believe at 8 o'clock, as he always does each and every week, covers the team at a very high level for The Athletic. He expects them, and expects him, I should say, to miss a chunk of time. So we'll wait and see what's going on there, but tough break for Gary Payton. A guy who's an energy guy, and a guy you just root for. He always has wow plays, hustle plays, always does the right thing, always in the right place at the right time. For as limited as he is offensively, the guy's got hops. He got some sick dunks. By the way, Trace Jackson Davis trying to yam down on my guy Badazzi from the Republic of Georgia. Zaza Pachulia's, countryman. Now, it was a foul, but oh my goodness. The Rook has got confidence. And that's what I appreciate about these young guys and these rookies for the team. A lot of confidence, a lot of swagger. And the Warriors need that right now. And hopefully the win for them was a step in the right direction to build something off. Because for as much time and for as many wins that they've had in a row, little mini winning streaks, it's always reverted back to the mean. It's one step forward, two steps back. That's what it was last year. It's eerily similar to last year. And they're hoping that changes, again, a little over a month between now the trade deadline in the NBA. That's going to be February 8th, a Thursday. But here's kind of what's going circulating around the app formerly known as Twitter. Klay Thompson. And he had a conversation with Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr alluded to this before the game about, shot selection, not letting bad performances, bad shots affect you, because when you're slumping and your bad body language, you're having that on the court, on the bench, it affects the players. It does. And I think all of us can speak to that. When someone's body language is bad in any wake of life, whether it's a family member, whether it's someone you live with, a significant other, a coworker, that affects everyone around them. It does. And that's not to say, hey, get your act together. Why are you so sad? Why is this? No. That's on a partner, on a coach, on a coworker to go out there and say, hey, what's bothering you? Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you okay? And to Steve Kerr's credit, that helped Klay Thompson a lot. And here's what Klay had to say about that.
Steve and I had actually a great conversation yesterday, and that helped me relax a lot. Sometimes I forget just how successful and how lucky I've been to be a part of championship teams and all-star games and gold medals. And when you want to get back to that level so badly, you can kind of get in your own way. And rather than forcing it, we had a conversation about just enjoying this last chapter of my career and how lucky I truly am to still be playing this game and doing it at a high level and being a better mentor for these young guys, leading by example and having my energy right every game. And he helped me realize when I do have negative energy, how that affects the team in a poor manner. So we had a great conversation. That just helped me change my whole mindset and forget about shooting splits or points per game or all-star games, and just to enjoy being in this Warriors uniform and appreciate what we built, because it's such a rare opportunity for any professional athlete to be a part of so much success and to try and pass that torch to the younger guys and keep this thing going.
A rare moment, a very, trying to be careful how I word this. That was very vulnerable from Klay Thompson. That's the most vulnerable I think I've ever, heard Klay. Like listening just to the audio, like if you don't have the visual in front of you, but just listening to the audio, I'm not gonna say he was getting choked up, but man, I was almost getting a little choked up for the guy, because I think we've all been there before. Whether it's in any sport, job, what have you, I think we could all, put ourselves in Klay Thompson's sneakers here, if you will. Was it Anta? But you could put yourself in his shoes and understand what he's going through. He's not executing at a high level. He's not the player he once was. His time as a top-level player is probably over. The young guys have to get minutes. The team has been struggling. Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely. Steph is Steph, but even he's feeling it. He's feeling the weight. And Steve Kerr recognized all this and sees his player struggle. A guy that Steve Kerr knows very well in Klay Thompson, winning 4 titles with him. He's been through the good times and the bad, through all the injuries, through everything with him. And I commend Steve Kerr for going up to him and having a conversation. That is the job of a head coach, of any, boss, if you will. I don't know, like boss loosely, but, that's what you got to do. You got to ask something of your players that may be hard, but it needed to happen. And Klay said as much. This needed to happen. He's glad it did. And hopefully he's all the better for it and the team's all the better for it. We're up against it. We can pick this conversation up on the other side. Good morning to all of you on the YouTube chat. I see you. Appreciate you chiming in. Twitch and YouTube. Search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe there. And it's all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. This is the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. And on the other side, more Warriors. And could Jim Harbaugh be on his way out of college football and back to the NFL? Well, one NFL beat writer thinks so. And we'll discuss that on the other side on 95.7 The Game.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry.
email equalemployment@odyssey.com to be notified of all open positions, and we invite our listeners to visit odyssey.com/careers to view a listing of all job openings.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. I see Bonte Hill. I hear Bonte Hill, actually. The doors here in this studio are not the best. The producer studio, it's great. I don't hear anything. I don't hear any of the sales staff, anyone in the prep room. But this one, the main one, not the best. That's all right. I'm not distracted. But Bonte Hill and Joe Shasi, they're fired up. You'll hear from them in, about 12 minutes or so as the Warriors take out the Orlando Magic 121-115. Warriors improved to 16-17 on the year. Stephen Curry doing Stephen Curry things. 36 points. Jonathan Kuminga getting the start. 19 points there. The rookie, TJD, Trace Jackson Davis, out of Indiana University. 10 points. Klay Thompson, efficient. 15 points. Not his best three-point shooting. Got a dunk. That's always nice. And we heard from Klay on the other side talking about, having a conversation with his head coach and, enjoying passing the torch to this next generation, embracing that. And Steve Kerr's a guy, who can speak perfectly on this. He was never, the two-way player, the Hall of Fame player like Klay was. Not even in his wildest dreams could he have the athleticism, the size, the strength, all that. But Steve played on one of the greatest teams, if not the greatest in the history of basketball, on that Chicago Bulls team with Michael Jordan, with Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, all those guys. He was there. And he was a vital piece at one of the biggest shots in NBA history. And he ended up, departing, and he was more of a journeyman towards the end of his career, but he took on a veteran role, mentoring young guys with the San Antonio Spurs. So Steve Kerr knows, not only as a coach, but as a player on that next transitional phase of his career. And we're not saying that Klay Thompson's done or anything like that. Not even, no. He's got some years left because he's still a good enough defender on some of the bigs and can be hot at times enough to where this guy is going to be wanted around the league. Now, as a premier player, as a, bona fide star in the league, no. But just because you're not a star doesn't mean you can't help produce. Most of the NBA is not star-driven. It's the others, as Shaq would say. And while Klay is not quite the other, he is closer to being a journeyman type of player than he is, being a 30-minute a night kind of a guy at this stage of his career. 888-957-9570, the number. And another guy who could probably speak well on this to Klay, and a guy who's embraced his bench role, is Chris Paul. And here's what he said on if he saw anything different last night from Curry.
No, he played the same way, you know what I mean? But obviously getting him good looks or whatnot, and the energy of the team changes when we get stops. And you're able to get out and transition. And when shots go in, especially for a shooter or something like that, and a scorer like Steph, once you make a couple now, it's trouble because now you're going to try to jam him up and he's going to drive or whatnot, just keep making the right play.
And here's some good stuff from Chris Paul talking after the game on his teammate Gary Payton II, who just returned from having a calf injury. Very arduous journey. We all know the calf injuries are very finicky. That's why Kyle Shanahan needs to be very careful with what he does with Christian McCaffrey, who's also dealing with a slight calf strain. Not thought to be as serious, but the workload on a running back, all that. Got to be very, very careful there because CMC and the Niners, they have Lombardi visions in Las Vegas. So something to monitor there. But Peyton, coming back from injury and then just 2 games in, injuring his hamstring, that's got to be tough. And here's CP3 talking about Peyton being a huge part of the team and any advice he would give Gary dealing with these injuries.
It's tough, man. I got to go down there and check on G because he's such a big part of our team. People may not realize it, but his energy is consistent every day, every practice, every game or whatnot. So him coming back to our team has been huge for us. So I hope what it isn't something that's going to take a long time or whatnot. But I think for him, it's going to be about just getting as healthy as possible. Advice. I don't know. I mean, he knows nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? You just got to take your time and put yourself first. But he's a competitor. I know how bad he wants to play and how hard he's been working to get back out there. So we'll see what happens. But that's unfortunate for a guy like GP who works as hard as he does.
Yeah, when asked what advice you'd give, don't get hurt. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to tell the guy? Like, no one's going to feel sorry for you. That's what I appreciate about Chris Paul, more so than a lot of other players. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He comes from that generation where it is what it is. He's going to tell you like it is. And whether you like it or not, that's his truth. And I appreciate that from CP3. 888-957-9570, the number. We can continue to take your calls and texts in regards to the Warriors getting the dub yesterday. I want to transition a little bit to what's going on in the college ranks and the NFL. I mean, this is a perfect time of the year if you are a football fan. We've got the national championship game coming up on the college end. We just had awesome college football playoffs. Alabama, Michigan getting the dub over them in overtime at the Rose Bowl. Doesn't get any better than that. Picturesque background. 2 storied, if not the most storied programs in the history of college football. 2 of the more polarizing head coaches, not just in college football, but in all of football. Just think about what Nick Saban has meant to college football and the pipeline that Alabama has been for the NFL, all the championships he has won. I mean, he has solidified himself, at least in my lifetime, as the greatest college football coach, and maybe the greatest of all time, just looking at his achievements. And then Jim Harbaugh, obviously, winning at every single level he has been a part of, whether it's Stanford, whether it's with the Niners, and whether it's now with Michigan, still trying to get over that hump, trying to get that 1 ring. And he's going to have the opportunity because Washington, Michael Penix Jr., and that offense, those wide receivers, they're coming over and they're going to try to whoop that ass. They're not as physical as Michigan, which I think gives Michigan the advantage here. Ultimately, why I think they edge out Washington in this game. But they are high flying. And if Michael Penix is going to be playing like he did last week against Texas, dime after dime after dime, if they just give him time, as we're doing the rhyme hour here on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni, the offensive line could just give him some time. I mean, he is an infinitely better passer than Jalen Milroe. Infinitely better. Now, age has to do with that. Obviously, Milroe, a younger player, but you just look at the raw talent of Michael Penix as a thrower of the football. I mean, it's not the most picturesque release point as he's throwing it. It's actually kind of a little herky-jerky, if you will. Ted Winn of The Athletic compared him to Phillip Rivers a little bit. Now, I think Penix has a stronger arm than Rivers, but the way Rivers threw the ball, almost kind of like a sidewinder, if you will, it just worked. I don't know how it worked. It just did. And Penix is the same way. Just throwing dime after dime, dropping in the breadbasket. He's got arm strength. He can throw it 50 yards on a rope if you need him to. I mean, he's the total package. The only thing that would give me pause about selecting him, and I think that's a lot of players are weighing, GMs and head coaches, amongst others, is the injury history. And that's the only thing. I mean, it's well documented, torn ACLs, both legs, a lot of injuries, a lot of wear and tear on there, but his lateral quickness, I think, is slept on a little bit. I was impressed with him. So, Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, taking on the Huskies of Washington on Monday. Can't wait for that. And we'll have all the breakdown after that game, obviously, on Tuesday morning here on the pregame show. But Jim Harbaugh, what's he going to do? I think he's gone. Regardless, if they win or they don't. He hired Don Yee, obviously, strong ties with the NFL, being agents for, as we know, Jimmy Garoppolo, as well as Tom Brady, who is, by the way, a Michigan man, who, by the way, has ties with Mark Davis, owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady, still in the process of purchasing some stakes in that team, some ownership stakes, if you will. It's been stalled, but him and Mark very tight. Obviously, part owner of the Las Vegas Aces as well, alongside MD. And Vinny Bonsignor, he's a paisan of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, who covers the Raiders, does a great job. Vinny's very good at what he does. Very tapped in, not only with Mark Davis, but with all the coaches, general managers, everyone with that franchise. And he doesn't just say things to say things. He wrote an article yesterday, and this is what it was titled as. I should say, what he posted as on the app formerly called Twitter. Feel free to speculate about Jim Harbaugh coming to the Raiders as their next head coach. This time around, there is a growing sense it could happen. Can you imagine that? The bidding war, I think, is going to start getting up there, though, because the Chargers, they want him. The Raiders, more specifically Mark Davis, wants him. And I know Antonio Pierce and what he's done has been phenomenal this year. I don't think it's a horrible consolation if they end up having Pierce over Harbaugh, if Harbaugh goes elsewhere. But if I'm Mark Davis, I go all in on Harbaugh. He's a winner at every level. He can assemble coaching staff everywhere at every single level, whether it's college, whether it's the NFL. And he knows all these players coming out of the draft, whether it is Penix and then go wide receiver, what it is, Drake May or all these other guys. Hell, if it's his own guy, J.J. McCarthy, which, the guy threw a pick on the first play. Lucky it was called back, but... So Jim Harbaugh, future Raider? Something to keep an eye on. Something else to keep an eye on. They're back. Bonte Hill and Joe Shasi up next. 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco.